Back in 2022, I took a short-term job at a McDonald's right after graduating. Nothing glamorous. I just needed something temporary while figuring things out. The first few weeks were great. I was assigned to a pretty busy location in the city. Good crew, decent hours, no complaints. The kind of place that ran like a machine. But then about a month in, the manager called me into the office and told me they needed someone to temporarily cover shifts at a different branch. One located in a quieter part of town. It was more isolated, and apparently they were having staffing issues. I didn't mind. I'd been enjoying the job so far, and figured the change of scenery might be nice. That new branch, though, it was different. Not terrible, just off. The building felt older, a little grimier, fewer customers, fewer co-workers. Most shifts, it was just me and one other guy named Brandon. He was chill, kept to himself mostly, but we got along fine. The weird stuff didn't start immediately. At first it was just little things, like the intercom randomly crackling even when no one was at the drive-thru, or the lights in the storage hallway flickering constantly, no matter how many times maintenance looked at it. One night about 2 weeks in, I was closing with Brandon. It was around 12:30 a.m. We'd just finished cleaning the grill area when I found a piece of paper tucked under the register. It was folded once and just said in shaky handwriting, "Don't open the walk-in freezer after 1:13 a.m. I showed it to Brandon and laughed it off. He just shrugged and said something like, "Must be someone trying to mess with us." I agreed. It felt like a dumb prank, maybe from a previous employee trying to spook the new guy. Still, something about it bugged me. I kept checking the clock that night. When 1:13 rolled around, we were restocking supplies. Brandon headed toward the back, said he was going to grab more nuggets from the freezer. I didn't say anything. I mean, what was I gonna do? Forbid him? A few minutes passed. I heard the freezer door open, then shut. Then, nothing. No footsteps, no rustling, just silence. I waited another minute or two, then headed back there. The freezer door was shut. I knocked and called out. No response. Pulled the handle. Nothing. It was jammed, or locked. Now these freezers don't lock from the outside. That's a safety thing. I yanked the handle again, hard this time, and it popped open. Inside, Brandon was standing there, pale and shivering, not moving. He finally stepped out, breathing heavily, and said, "The door wouldn't open." I tried yelling. We both kind of stood there in silence for a second. Then he looked past me, toward the back of the hallway, and said, "Did you see someone walk by?" I hadn't. And when I checked the security cams later, there was no one else in the building. No deliveries, no customers, nothing. I quit that location a week later and asked to be moved back to my original store. I never saw any more weird notes. But before I left, I checked the cameras from that night again. The footage cuts out, exactly at 1:13 a.m. I don't know who wrote that note. I don't know what would have happened if I'd been the one to open that freezer, but I'm glad I didn't. A couple years ago, I worked the night shift at this small private emergency response center. We weren't a full 911 dispatch, more like a contracted support line. People called in for non-life-threatening issues, suspicious activity, wellness checks, noise complaints. Occasionally we'd pass something to the actual authorities, but mostly it was low pressure. I worked the overnight shift, usually 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. There were always 2 or 3 of us on at a time. Me, a guy named Ryan, and one overnight supervisor. Quiet place, dimly lit, kind of boring to be honest, but in a way that was perfect for me. For the first few weeks it was just routine stuff. Mostly silence punctuated by the occasional call. I started to get used to the rhythm. Headset on, quick typing, logging reports, refilling coffee. Then one night around 12:30 a.m., I got a call from a blocked number. That wasn't weird. Older landlines and alarm systems sometimes came through unlisted. I answered with the standard script. There was a pause. Then a man's voice came through. Low, even, calm. "You're not the one that's supposed to be answering tonight." It was so flat, I thought maybe it was a prank. I was about to say something when he continued. "You haven't touched your coffee since 11:42. That's unusual." I glanced down at the mug next to my keyboard. Still full. I'd poured it right before 11:45, then got distracted reading an incident report. Hadn't taken a sip. I turned toward Ryan, who was a few desks over, busy on another call. The voice spoke once more. "Don't speak about this to anyone. Just let it pass." Then silence. I sat there, frozen for a few seconds. I honestly thought someone in the building was messing with me. Maybe a tech guy watching the security cameras and playing a joke on the new hire. At the end of my shift, I brought it up to the supervisor. Ryan and another coworker from the morning shift were already in the room, chatting, so they definitely heard me explain it. I said something like, "Hey, I got this weird blocked call. Guy said he could see me, knew I wasn't drinking my coffee. Probably someone hacked into the cams or something." The supervisor didn't think it was a big deal. Said she'd have IT review it just in case, but told me to log it and move on. So I did. 3 nights later, around the same time, I got another blocked call. I hesitated, then answered. Same voice. "You told someone. That was your first mistake." I didn't say a word. He waited a beat, then said, "You didn't sleep from 2:08 to 3:13 a.m. last Tuesday. You thought about quitting. You didn't. Wrong choice." He paused. "Don't make the same mistake twice." Then the call dropped. That rattled me. The night he was referring to, I'd been lying awake thinking about this job, whether I even wanted to keep doing it. I hadn't told anyone that, hadn't written it down. It was just a thought. One I had alone in my apartment at 2 in the morning. This time, I didn't report it. I didn't say a word to anyone. I just sat through my shift and tried to act normal. A few days later, I was walking past the break area when I heard Ryan talking quietly to our supervisor. His voice was low but serious. "It's not just prank calls. The guy knows things I don't talk about. He told me not to tell anyone, but this is getting weird." I stopped for a second. That same language, that same pattern. I walked off and pretended I didn't hear it. Over the next 2 days, I kept noticing Ryan seemed off. More jumpy, always checking his screen even when no calls were coming in. Then one night, I saw him standing outside the building after his shift, talking on his phone and pacing. He didn't see me, so I kept walking. I figured he got a second call too, and I was right. Apparently, after his second weird call, he again told the supervisor. Even asked if the calls could be coming from someone inside the company, or maybe the system had been compromised. Same result as mine. IT checked everything, no trace, no log of the calls at all. They didn't even show up as missed in the software. A few co-workers decided to plan something small for Ryan's birthday. He didn't talk much about personal stuff, but someone noticed the date carved into a small glass figure on his desk. Figured it'd be a surprise. I didn't go. I didn't feel right about it. Something about Ryan had been off for weeks. The next day, someone mentioned that he wasn't at his apartment when they went to surprise him. At first, everyone assumed he'd just gone out or maybe was avoiding the whole birthday thing. Then he missed his shift, and the next one, a couple people went by his place again. Car was parked outside. No answer. Eventually, police were called. Ryan was officially reported missing. No signs of a break-in, no signs of struggle, nothing missing. He lived alone, and he was just gone. I haven't heard from him since. Neither has anyone else I work with. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know who made those calls. All I know is what the voice said to me. Don't make the same mistake twice. I guess Ryan did. I don't usually work night shifts. but I picked up a late run that weekend because I needed the extra cash. It was around 1:30 in the morning, snow on the ground, roads pretty much dead. I was doing deliveries through a food app. Not something I normally enjoy, but it's quiet at night, and you don't have to deal with much. Most of the night had been uneventful. Just a few orders, mostly fast food and gas station snacks. But the last one that came through was strange. The app pinged me with a decent payout. A little out of town, but not far enough to decline. No restaurant name, though. Just a note that said, "Food is prepaid, pick up at back door." And then a drop-off address I didn't recognize at all. I looked at the map, and the location was tucked way off a side road just outside the city. It didn't seem like there were any houses out that way, but whatever. Money's money. The pickup spot was fine. A 24-hour burger spot. Order was already bagged and sealed when I got there. No issues. The drop-off, though. It led me down this long, narrow street. No lights, no open businesses, no houses in sight. Just dark road and tree silhouettes. GPS told me I was getting close, and then suddenly, it announced, "You have arrived." The house was barely visible, set way back behind some overgrown hedges. Looked old and kind of lopsided, like it hadn't been lived in for years. But the porch light was on. That's the only reason I even saw the front steps. There were no cars out front, no sidewalk, just a path through the snow leading to the door, like someone had recently walked it. I got out and walked up. The front door was already slightly open, not all the way, just cracked, like it was waiting. I wasn't sure if I should knock, but the note said, "Do not ring." I figured maybe they'd see me from inside or just wanted it left there. So I set the bag down right inside the doorframe and turned to leave. Then I noticed something weird. Off to the side in the entryway, there were two other food bags sitting on the floor. Different places. One was pizza, the other looked like Chinese. They looked recent, still sealed, still warm enough to be giving off faint steam. That didn't make sense. Who's ordering all this food in the middle of the night and not taking it? I thought maybe it was a shared house or a glitch in the app and multiple people sent orders to the same place. But then I saw the receipts. Each bag had the same name on it, same first and last, same drop-off note. That's when the silence broke. Somewhere deeper in the house, something heavy dropped, like metal hitting wood. Not a crash, just a sharp clang in total quiet. I froze. For a second I thought maybe someone had just bumped something or knocked something over, but I didn't hear footsteps. No movement. Just one loud sound, then nothing. I backed out, pulled the door closed gently, and walked fast back to my car. Before I could start the engine, I glanced back at the house, and I swear, there was someone watching me from the second-floor window, just standing there, barely visible behind the curtain, not moving, not waving, just watching. My stomach dropped. I looked down at the app on my phone. The screen refreshed again with another order. Same customer name, same instructions, but this time, the note didn't say, "Do not ring." It said, "You should have rung." I put my phone face down on the passenger seat and drove straight home without even turning on music. I never went back to that side of town again. And honestly, I still don't know if it was a prank, a glitch, or something way worse. But whatever it was, I'm glad I didn't stick around to find out.